Hi, my name is Micah Kim, and I will be talking about golf shoe technology. I'm going to be talking about really two separate parts. The first part, I'm going to go into the background and the information about golf shoe technology, and the second part, I'm going to talk about what shoes to get on the Adidas side and how shoes can really affect your golf game.
So, what is the history behind such a creative and such a large part in golf today? Well, the first golf shoe was created in the 1850s, and they were a shoe that had small nails pushed through the sole to aid with traction, and they were
Uncomfortable. In the late 1800s, 1891 to be exact, the first spiked golf shoe was created. They were screw-in spikes, but they would tear up the greens. In the early 1900s, the saddle Oxford golf shoe was created. This quickly became the traditional golf shoe and is still seen today. In the 1980s, golf companies started to focus on how to make golf shoes comfortable, and there is a history with uncomfortable golf shoes. In the 1990s, the first plastic spikes were created. Now, these really revolutionized golf shoes and what we see today.
Well, what about present shoes today? Following what I said earlier, new technologies led to more and more different types of shoes emerging in the market. For example, in 2010, a new trend emerged in the golf shoe industry that went back to the earliest golfers, which were spikeless shoes. This trend caused huge demand for casual shoes that were comfortable and cool and they could wear anywhere. According to DataBridge Market Research, the expected growth rate of golf shoes from 2021 to 2028 is a 3.1 compound annual growth rate. This means that more and more people are getting into golf, which creates a higher demand for casual shoes and spike shoes. I'll get into that later. Another cool fact, the National Golf Foundation reported that the rounds of golf played in 2019 to 2020 increased around 50 to 70 million. This is huge for golf companies as they see their market growing.
Now I'm going to talk about the different types of golf shoe. There are two main types of golf shoe, the spike golf shoe and the spikeless golf shoe. The differences are a spike golf shoe provides more traction, more support, and less energy loss. Energy loss, I'll get into that later. For spikeless golf shoes, it is very comfortable. It provides a lot of versatility, meaning you can use it just as a normal pair of shoes if you want to go on to the bar after you go golfing, or if you want to get dinner after, you can wear these shoes there and they'll look fine and they'll be able to support your foot while still being comfortable. However, there's more energy loss and your foot gets inverted, which can cause some injuries. When talking about energy loss, think about it like this. Think about running in sand versus a bouncy surface. Sand is very difficult to run on, therefore it has high energy loss. You lose energy within each step. Trampolines or bouncy surfaces have low energy loss. This means that all the energy you put in go back into your legs and you can run for a longer period of time. This applies to spiked and spikeless golf shoes because when walking on soft surfaces, you want to have a hard outsole so that you lose less energy within each step. However, when you are wearing a spikeless golf shoe, it's soft on soft, meaning you lose more energy.
Now we're going to talk about the different parts of the shoe, starting with the midsole. EVA midsoles are used in most traditional running and athletic shoes because it provides comfort, it's eco-friendly, and it's shock absorbent. Rubber, however, is used in heavy-duty boots and shoes because it's more durable, waterproof, and provides the best traction for hikers and on slippery surfaces. However, the reason why rubber is not used in running shoes because it is heavy, it is less comfortable, and doesn't provide that shock absorbentness to it. Polyurethane is similar to EVA, however, it's different because it's heavier and better for good support when you're wearing a shoe. Also, a hard-wearing shoe sole with excellent long-term mechanical properties that can be reused and recycled. What about the Adidas Boost? Well, the Adidas Boost is TPU, also known as thermoplastic polyurethane. It is similar to polyurethane, however, it also provides the best energy return, meaning least amount of energy loss. This helps when you are trying to run longer distances so you can run faster, or if you're trying to run really fast, you can run really fast for longer periods of time. Now we're going to talk about the outsole of a shoe. There are two main different types of outsoles that are used in golf shoes: rubber and TPU. Rubber is exceptionally sturdy, superior storage longevity, premium seep resistance for uneven and slippery surfaces, superior puncture resistance, superior water resistance, making them easy to clean. Basically, rubber is really good for hikers and those who want to go off-roading or are in nature most of the time. TPU, however, is lightweight, highly resistant to chemicals and oils, high tolerance to cracking, premium slip resistance for uneven slippery surfaces. When you are looking for a running shoe, you are looking for something that has TPU as an outsole because you want something that is really light. However, when you are looking for something that if you want something that is really sturdy, I would look into shoes that have outsoles that are rubber. Now we're going to talk about Adidas headquarters. To further my research, I was able to get connected with Edwin Yang, the director of golf footwear and development. That's me on the left. He was able to walk me through what they do at Adidas, how important it is for them to create really good shoes, and what they do on a day-to-day basis. I was there. What did I learn, you may ask? Well, I learned how they made their shoes. It's a lot of collaboration. The director of marketing, director of design, and director of development, which is Mr. Edwin's position, all work together, or the whole crew works together to find ways to either make it lighter, make it more sturdy, or make it so that all three of them can be happy at the same time. For example, the director of marketing will give guidelines or tell them what he thinks is going to happen in 4 years and what he wants in 4 years to be made. The director of design wants to create something that is visually pleasing but also gets the job done. The director of development is really focused on making the shoe good, making the shoe able to perform in tough conditions, and making it so that it is not just a good-looking shoe, but it is a good performing shoe. In order to do that, they collaborate and create this thing called a last. This last is basically the mold that they create the shoe around. When creating the shoe, it is really important to find a last that fits most people, is comfortable for most, and also is not specific to one group of people. So how do they test their shoes? Well, there are 3 tests that they use. They use the fit test, the long-term wear test, and the dynamic test. The fit test is really just how it feels once you put it on the foot. Are there any uncomfortable places that you could point out? Like, is the toe being jammed too much? Is the pinky being rubbed up against? These are all things that the fit test looks at and really provides a good response to. The long-term wear test is maybe playing 1 or 2 rounds of golf in these shoes. How does it feel? Are there parts that break off easily? These are questions that are important to really finding a good shoe. Lastly, the dynamic test. This is when a golf shoe is used for 6 months or to a year, a long period of time, to really make sure that the shoe is the best of the ability. Will the heel slip out? Will the laces break apart easily? These are all questions that they test to really provide the best shoe for their customers. Here is a example of a fit test and a long-term test, as they are able to show and say what they want in a shoe. When playing golf, we decided that it'd be a good idea to test the three different shoes and to feel how each felt on our feet. While I mainly wore the 360s, I felt a huge difference when playing with the Light Strikes and the Chaoses, and I'm sure my dad and Mr. Edwin felt the same way. While we may not be the best golfers to test these shoes, we definitely felt like there are differences between each shoe. We found that the Tour 360s were comfortable, however they are heavier than the Light Strikes. They're a spike shoe, and because I mainly wore these shoes, I personally felt like there was too much technology put into this shoe. I felt like it was over-engineered. There was just too much happening, and they need to simplify it a little bit for it to be a really good-looking shoe and a good playing shoe. I definitely felt like it was heavier than the Light Strikes. It was kind of uncomfortable and kind of felt like I was kind of wearing blocks on my feet while walking. I mean, nothing too significant, but you can definitely feel that the shoes were on your feet. The Light Strikes, however, were very comfortable. They're very light. It was a spike shoe as well. It was snug. It was bouncy. My dad mainly wore the shoe, and he felt that his pinky toe was rubbing a little bit against the shoe. However, when coming out of it, he said that it's not really a big deal, and I'm sure other people have different experiences with these shoes. The Coke Chaoses was mainly worn by Mr. Edwin, and he said that it was very comfortable. It fit like a sock. It was non-spiked, meaning it wasn't a hard base. It's also a very fashionable shoe, so the versatility effect is there, and you felt everything on the ground. So if there was a rock underneath your shoe, you definitely felt it. This is probably one of the negatives of the shoe, but other than that, Mr. Edwin played a really great round of golf, and he really felt like these shoes, he loved them, and he played really well, and he just loved everything about it. So, yeah. Now, looking at the graph below, we can see that the average score over par per hole was significantly different between each shoe. While I mostly wore the 360s and I mainly scored higher on average, we all didn't play well, or we all didn't play significantly better when wearing these shoes. If anything, it was worse. The Light Strikes were somewhere in the middle, while the Coke Chaoses, I personally felt like I played well in. I also forgot to mention, when my dad wore the Coke Chaoses for one round, or one hole, his knees immediately started to wobble. I don't know if that is something that happens, but my dad has very weak knees. So if you're looking to get a shoe that is supportive around your knees, I'd look into the Light Strikes or the Tour 360s. Overall, I felt like the Light Strikes or the Coke Chaoses are the best shoes to get. The Tour 360s, I would stay away from them for a little while they deal with technology that goes into the shoe. I think the Light Strikes are always a great option because they're very light, they're snug, and they're very comfortable. Same with the Coke Chaoses. It all just depends on what you want in a golf shoe. Like whether you want a more casual golf shoe or a more professional looking golf shoe. With the Coke Chaoses, they look sick, and you can wear them wherever you go, and I'm sure no one will really notice and will actually comment on your shoe saying, this is such a cool shoe. Is it a golf shoe? What type of shoe is it? But if you're looking for a golf shoe that's really just a golf shoe, I'd look at the Light Strikes. As I said before, try to stay away from the Tour 360s, look into the Light Strikes and Coke Chaoses, and I feel like your golf game is going to improve. I wouldn't say it's going to improve significantly, but these two shoes are really, really comfortable. So, yeah. To conclude what I learned at Adidas Golf headquarters, I thought it'd be a good idea to apply what I learned to something that I
I've gotten interested in recently. Sailing. I've gotten into sailing recently in the past year since. I've gotten into sailing the past year, and on the left are a few characteristics that I wanted in the shoe. I wanted a rubber outsole, an EVA midsole. I wanted it to be comfortable, to fit like a sock, and for it to be light. I wanted a rubber outsole because I want it to really be. I want you to really be able to stay on the boat. It's also very waterproof and very durable. I went in a EVA midsole to deal with the comfortability of it. It's also very light, so it cope well with the rubber outsole, since rubber is hard. I also wanted to make it comfortable, so when you're moving around the boat, that you're not uncomfortable while moving, obviously. And I want it to fit like a sock to really focus on the ankle support, because I don't really have great ankles, and moving around the boat, sometimes I find my ankle being placed in awkward situations or awkward places that like it's not normally supposed to go. So I thought really focusing on ankle support would be a good idea. I want it to be light, so when you're moving around the boat, it's not like you're wearing like heavy cement blocks on your feet. On the right is a sketch of what I did. I want it to have a Velcro on the top to really support your ankle more. And instead of using the traditional tying shoelace method, I thought it'd be a good idea to use BOA so that your shoelace doesn't get caught up on anything in the boat. When you're moving around a lot, you can also trip on your laces, and that would be a bad thing, or it could be untied. There are so many different variables that go into shoes and laces, to be exact. So I thought using BOA to really tighten in your ankle, like locking it in, as well as not having to deal with the shoelace part, I thought BOA would be a good idea. So yeah, thank you.